जय हिंद दोस्तों। आज हमारे इंग्लिश ग्रामर एंड कम्युनिकेशन लेक्चर सीरीज़ का ये पहला लेक्चर है और इस लेक्चर में हम बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक पे बात करने जा रहे हैं और वो इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक है पार्ट्स ऑफ स्पीच। पार्ट्स ऑफ स्पीच आर वेरी important while we form a sentence because each part of speech has a specific function in a sentence. It has specific function and it has specific place in a sentence. Therefore, we all need to understand all these parts of speech thoroughly. What is the result? How understanding parts of speech is important. Why we should learn parts of speech. As I said, each part of speech has specific place and function in a sentence. Therefore, we need to understand all of these parts of speech before we move on to form or construct a sentence or clause. Parts of speech make our communication very accurate. It can make our communication grammatically correct. It makes our communication effective. We can express our ideas very accurately, vividly, and convincingly. So, understanding their significance helps us build, construct, or form a clear, coherent and expressive communication, and therefore we call them building block of English language because it has specific function in a sentence, specific place in a sentence. There are 8 parts of speech and each is important. First is noun, second is pronoun, next is verb, next is adjective, fifth is adverb, sixth is preposition, seventh is conjunction, and eighth is interjection. So let us explain what is noun. So noun is a word that represents a person, place, thing or idea. As I said, it is a part of speech that functions as the subject or object of a sentence or clause. I'll explain what is subject, object, what is sentence or even clause in next slides. As I said, noun is a person. It can be a doctor, engineer, teacher, mother, even name of the person. You take name of any person, all these things come under the nomenclature noun, what we call noun. Then we said that noun is the name of place also. For example, hospital, school, temple, park, beach, museum, etc. etc. We also said that noun is a thing. It can be a table, it can be a chair, it can be your mobile phone, car, computer, and you name anything, and that comes under noun. We also said that noun is an idea. So ideas we understand only in the mind. For example, freedom, justice, happiness, courage, childhood, democracy. There are n number of ideas, and all these ideas come under the nomenclature again, noun. So noun is person, place, thing, and idea. So it can be categorized as the concrete noun also. Concrete means the things which are very tangible, which we can see, which we can touch. There are again n number of abstract nouns. So noun can be singular and plural also. Some nouns are singular, some nouns are plural, or in other words, I should say singular nouns can be converted into plural nouns. Like an apple, we say it can be the apples. We say a boy, we can convert it into plural, boys. Idea, ideas, elephant, elephants, so on and so forth. So in this way, singular nouns can be made plural. We can categorize the nouns. There are different kinds of nouns. We can put them into different categories, like proper noun. Proper nouns are the nouns which we name. For example, Sahara Desert. Sahara is proper noun. We are naming the desert. Similarly, we can name the people. Maybe Sima, Rahul, Mary, the river Godavari, the countries, and even the mountains. It is not like proper nouns. Common noun is a type of noun that refers to a general, non-specific person, place, or thing, or even idea. Unlike proper nouns, which refer to specific, unique entities. In proper noun, we have named the things and object. Common noun is a type of noun that refers to general, non-specific person, place, thing. In proper noun, we had given the names. So, proper nouns were specific, whereas common noun is non-specific. It's not like proper noun, because proper noun we have seen, which refers to specific, unique entity or thing. And third is collective noun. Collective nouns are singular nouns that refer to group of collection of people, animals or things as a single unit. ये एक single unit होता है. It is referred to the group or the collection. Collection or the group of people, animals or things as a single unit, mind you. While the members of the group are individuals, the collective noun treat them as single entity. As far as a group of people are concerned, for example, we have family, we have class, we have army, we have team, we have crowd. As far as things are concerned, it can be bunch, album, group, pack, comb, list. And as far as animals are concerned, it can be herd, hive, flock, pack, swarm or grist. We can say that it's a flock of birds, it's a herd of cows, a pack of wolves, a school of fish, a pride of lions, a swarm of bees, parliament of owls, a choir of singers, a team of players, a list of items, so on and so forth. So there are n number of collective nouns which is referred to as a single unit. Then we have material noun. What is material noun? The material noun is self-explanatory. For example, iron, copper, steel, gold, coal, silver, ice, wheat, milk, so on and so forth. The list of material noun is also endless. Noun. An abstract noun is a type of noun that refers to a concept, idea, quality, state or condition. It can be a concept, it can be an idea, it can be a quality, it can be a state, it can be a condition that cannot be perceived through our five senses. Unlike concrete nouns, as I said, are visible to the eyes, we can touch them. Whereas abstract nouns represent intangible concepts that exist in the mind or as attributes. So that we understand only in our minds. So we need to understand the difference between abstract and concrete nouns. we can put them into the category of countable and uncountable nouns. Countable and uncountable nouns. Countable means that can be measured. How many students are there in the class? How many people were there? How many eggs did you buy? So the eggs can be counted, the books can be counted, and student can be counted, the people can be counted. So all these things and many others come under the category of countable nouns. And generally, a noun used in answer to the question how many is a countable noun. We say how many students, we say how many people, we say how many eggs, we say how many items. Then we have uncountable nouns. Another category is uncountable noun. Uncountable noun itself suggests that it cannot be counted. The things that cannot be counted come under uncountable noun. So milk, we cannot count. We can count by using the measure. We say a liter of milk, 2 liters of milk, 2 liters of water, 1 kg of sugar, 1 kg of butter. We say money. Money, we don't say how many money. We say how much money. Information, how much information do you have? So anything that we get in answer to the question how much is an uncountable noun. Then let us come to the concepts that came under the definition of noun. We there came across sentence, we there came across clause, we then came across subject, we then came across object. So all these concepts I think need to be explained. So let us begin with what is sentence. What is sentence? So sentence is a group of words that makes complete sense. For example, Raman is a doctor. It describes Raman. Raman is subject. Is a linking verb, and a doctor is a noun. It's a noun phrase because a article is used, so it becomes a noun phrase. Raman is a doctor. So this group of words, as we said, is a sentence, makes complete sense. It is very clear. It conveys specific meaning. So therefore, the words so arranged, it makes sense, is a sentence. Only group of words does not make a sentence. If we rearrange these words in this sentence, Raman is a doctor. For example, we put doctor first and then a and then is and then Raman. It does not make any sense. We again need to distinguish between what is sentence and clause. So clause is also a group of words like sentence. But then there is one difference. And what is that difference? The difference is the group of words may or may not make complete sense. This is very important. It can be a sentence. It may not be a complete sentence. It may not convey a complete meaning. So clauses can be complete sentences or parts of sentences, and clause contains subject and predicate. So I will explain the very idea or the concept of predicate also later on. But try to understand here the sentences given below. He reads. He reads makes complete sense. So this is a sentence. This is a clause, because clause that makes complete sense, the clause that makes complete sense is a sentence. So for such sentence, for such clause, we say main or independent clause. Main or independent because it gives us complete sense. He is subject like his verb, and then there is book. So again we have to distinguish between action verb and linking verb. But before that, let us try to understand this structure. Because he likes book, though there is subject, verb and object, still it does not convey complete sense. In order to understand this sentence, we have to put these two sentences together, then only because he likes books make complete sense, and therefore it depends upon another sentence for its sense. It is called subordinate or dependent clause. So this is the main difference between sentence and clause. Sentence makes complete sense, whereas clause may or may not make complete sense, like the sentence because he likes book. If we put it together, the sentence will be like this: he reads because he likes book. So as I said, we need to understand even the very concept of verb. The verb in first sentence, for example, Raman is a doctor. There are different kinds of verb which I will deal with in separate lecture. But for the time being, the words that we come across, we need to explain briefly. So in first sentence, Raman is a doctor. So is the linking verb in this sentence. Is a linking verb in the sentence Raman is a doctor. So linking verbs connect the subject. For example, in this sentence, Raman to the complement doctor. Complement again means that complete the sense of the subject. What is Raman? Raman is a doctor. Therefore, we call it complement. So doctor is complement and describes a state of being or condition. It describes the condition. What is Raman? Raman is a doctor. It describes the state of the subject. What is Raman? Raman is a doctor. In this case, is links Raman to the description of his profession. So I hope you understood difference between sentence and clause, and then under clause, main clause and subordinate clause. I repeat, main clause stands independent. It does not require other sentences to make sense, whereas subordinate clause requires other sentences to make sense. He reads because he likes book. So because he likes books, becomes meaningful only when we have the sentence he reads. He reads independent clause, whereas because he likes book is subordinate or dependent clause. Then as I said again, that we need to understand the concept of, because we often use the word in this lecture, subject, object, this and that. So we need to understand again what is subject. What is subject? The subject of sentence is the person. Just as when we define what is noun, it can be person, place, thing or idea. So subject is also a person, place, a thing or idea that performs the action or that is described. That performs the action or that is described. For example, we said Raman is a doctor. So Raman is described. What is Raman? Raman is a doctor. And then in another sentence we said he reads a book. He reads a book. So read is a verb. It's not a linking verb, but read is action verb. So the subject of a sentence is the person, place, thing or idea that performs the action or that is described. It tells us who or what the sentence is about. Subject tells us who or what the sentence is about. Again, I take the example of Raman is a doctor. So it tells us about Raman. and that Raman is the subject in the sentence. You see all these sentences. Sima writes a letter. It is a person. Subject is a person. Subject is a place. Nagpur is a big city. Subject is a thing. Knife is a sharp instrument. And subject can also be an idea. Honesty is the best policy. So as we said, subject can be a person, subject can be a place, subject can be a thing, subject can be even an idea. We also talked about object. Then what is object? If I have to explain it briefly in specific terms, I would say that an object is a thing or person that is affected by the action of the verb. So this is very, very important. Object is affected by the action of the verb. It is affected by the verb. Anything that is affected by the verb is called object. It's what the subject of a sentence acts upon or interacts with. Object is something that the subject of the sentence acts upon or interact with. Object, as I said, receives the action of the verb. Object receives the action of the verb. In these sentences you see Sham helps Ram. Ram receives the action of the verb helps. Rahul visits Nagpur. Nagpur receives action of the verb visit. And Apple receives the action of the verb cut. And honesty receives the action of the verb love. So I hope the very concept of object is very clear. Clause can be a sentence. Clause cannot be a complete sentence. As we have seen, clause is divided into two categories further. That is main clause or independent clause, and then dependent clause or subordinate clause. So now coming to the concept of predicate. Predicate is a part of the sentence or clause that tells us what the subject does. That tells us what the subject does or what is being said about the subject. It contains verb and often includes. So it begins with, predicate begins with verb and other parts in the sentence. Verb and other parts that comes after the verb, that is predicate. So in every sentence you will find subject and predicate. Even the shortest sentence you will have subject and predicate where there are only two words. For example, I read. I read. So I is subject and read is predicate. You see the sentence here. The coffee is delicious. The coffee is delicious. In this sentence, the coffee is subject and is delicious is predicate. She reads a book. She is subject here and reads a book is predicate. In this sentence, we have action verb. In first sentence, we have linking verb, and in second sentence, we have action verb. It shows what subject does. What subject does here? Subject reads a book. She reads a book. So every sentence has subject and predicate. The coffee is subject, is linking verb, and delicious is subject complement. It is in fact adjective. We call it complement. So in this way, we have explained the very, very important elements of parts of speech, and we know how parts of speech play a very significant role in forming a sentence. So all the parts of speech, 8 part of speech, we gradually explain and make you understand its function, its role and its place in a sentence. Once we understand all these parts of speech, we will be able to write correctly, we will be able to form sentence grammatically correct. We will be able to form grammatically correct sentences. We will be able to speak grammatically correct English. We will be able to write grammatically correct English. In order to make a sentence, we all must understand all these parts of speech. Thank you and Jai Hind.